Thank you very much again for having me. It's tough to follow Janice's comments right there, but as she said, I'm speaking from what I know, and so during these unprecedented times, stress is at an all-time high. People are worried about their work, their employment, finances, isolation, contracting the virus, among other things. And even though physical activity is known to help reduce the effect of stress, the local parks, rec centers, gyms, and trails have all been closed. So what are people to do? The most common form of physical activity among Canadian adults is walking. Yet Windsor isn't known for its walkability, with a walk score of 42 indicating it's mainly car dependent. In fact, the city center and Walkerville areas are the only two neighborhoods that are considered very walkable. Prior to the pandemic, Windsorites were also considered less physically active and more sedentary compared to the rest of Ontario, which alone does not set us up for a very healthy community. As a researcher, we've been following a group of adults, mainly Canadians from Windsor, who regularly wear an activity tracker like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch since the start of the pandemic. We know that people who wear a Fitbit or these activity trackers are probably a little bit more active than the general population. So while our results aren't necessarily reflective of the larger population, we can garner some information. So during the month of March, when the pandemic hit, people reduced their step count by about 1,000 steps per day from pre to post self-isolation or quarantine. We also noticed that the decrease in physical activity was more prevalent among those with higher work-related stress. And so for the study itself, we're following people for the next 6 months to see how stress, physical activity, and sedentary behavior changes over time with the reopening up of our communities. And so just this past month, participants told us that the most popular form of physical activity was walking, running coming in second, and home-based circuit type training in the third spot. So trying to translate that to what we can do and get more people active, we've seen cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, and others all modify their existing road infrastructure for more pedestrian and bike-friendly activities. A couple of weeks ago, I publicly gave my support to the closing of the 2 lanes on Riverside Drive, just 3 kilometers in the downtown core, to allow for more pedestrians to be active while physically distancing. This motion was shot down at City Council, with Mayor Drew Dilkin stating that putting up barriers and redirecting cars would be too costly. He also stated that there are 135 kilometers of trails in Windsor if people wanted to use them. But have you ever used any of the trails in Windsor? Well, they're getting better, and I'm more than thankful that the Dougal death trap has recently been addressed, because it's in my own neighborhood. But my concern is that the trails often lead to nowhere or are connected by very busy streets. And so one of my suggestions would be to consider how the existing trail systems work to build upon what's already there to make more an interconnected pathway system. We also need to consider the accessibility of the trails, as for instance, they tend to be concentrated in areas of higher socioeconomic status, and those disadvantaged may not have as much access. We've had Open Streets Windsor operate for the past 2 summers, whereby they shut down 8 kilometers of street for the day. Couldn't we bring that back much more regularly, say on the weekends, like they're doing in Toronto? In my world of health promotion, we'd like to say, make the healthy choice the easy choice, or an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Wouldn't it be ideal if we could put some efforts into health promotion and prevention for once? What if everyone would have access to the trail system right from their own neighborhoods, so that they too could get active, strengthen their immune system, and reap the benefits of a physically active lifestyle? Thank you.